actually joined in the studio now by Arturo de Frias. He heads up the banking team at Evolution Securities right here in London for more on this. So I understand that you're saying that Spanish lenders will have to absorb a further 84 billion euros.
Yep.
Is that correct? That's or
Yep.
$113 billion of losses. The savings banks, which are the ones, the Cajas, which are of particular focus, will absorb 50 billion euros of new capital. Is there a danger of your estimates being a little too bearish?
Maybe. What I wanted to do with that note was to calculate the potential losses in an Irish scenario, which probably is the worst case that we are going to see in any country in Europe, and see whether the banks and the Cajas could absorb all the losses through their P&L. The banks pass the test with really high marks. All of them would be able to take all these losses without any need for additional capital at all. The additional capital needs only appear at the Cajas.
Prime Minister Zapatero's government wants the Cajas to seek capital privately. Is that option going to be open to them? Are they going to be able to tap private investors for money?
I think it's possible. It's not realistic to expect that to happen very quickly, just now. I mean, we're talking about a number of Cajas who are in difficult positions. The stronger ones will be able to raise capital, I think, very quickly. The weaker ones will take longer. But I think the roadmap is starting to be very, very clear what the government and the Bank of Spain want to do. They want them to try to raise private capital first. If they can, fantastic.
Do you think that would be difficult?
For some of the stronger ones, I don't think so. I don't think so.
But important to distinguish then between not just between the bigger banks and then the funding problems of the Cajas, but within the Cajas, the weaker and the stronger ones.
Within the Cajas, there are completely different situations. There are Cajas that are stronger than some of the banks and stronger than many European banks, and there are Cajas, obviously, that still need to work a long time before they can become a realistic investment option. So it will be a long period. It will be 2 or 3 years, but it will start now.
Would capital injections from the government soothe investor concerns surrounding Spain saving banks?
We are going to follow the usual roadmap. First of all, tell us what you have. Property exposures, construction exposure, potential losses. First of all, tell us what you have. Second, clean as much as you can with your internal resources. Third, if you need capital, then raise it. And that is the process we are following. All that should really calm investors in terms of the Cajas not blowing up at all.
So then, is nervousness about Spain's banks perhaps exaggerated if they do disclose their positions and their exposure to the collapsed property market? I mean, when these details are released, could that actually be a good thing? Could that resolve much of it?
In fact, as you say, our loss expectations were very bearish, but the conclusions are very bullish. What I'm saying is that the banks are perfectly fine. Most of the Cajas are perfectly fine. The overall capital hole is not that big. It's only 40-50 billion. That's only 4% of GDP. That's really within the reach of the Spanish finances now. And as you say, the banks are really under pressure because of this uncertainty. So I think it's going to become clear that all the concerns were exaggerated, and in fact the banks are extremely cheap stocks. So we are very bullish on the large Spanish banks.
All right, Arturo de Frias, European bank analyst with Evolution Securities. Thanks very much for coming in. Good to talk to you.